In 1918, a county agricultural extension agent in southern Illinois visited a farm that had not purchased fertilizer of any kind in 31 years. The crops were not struggling. They were not average. They were, by every measurement the agent had, exceptional. The secret was not complicated. It was not hidden. It was growing in the ground right in front of him. Rows of clover and field beans woven between and after the main crops in a rotation the farmer's grandfather had learned from an almanac printed in 1847. Those plants, the clover, the beans, the vetch, carried something in their roots. Bacteria, rhizobium, microscopic organisms that pulled nitrogen directly from the air and locked it into the soil. No bag, no cost. The air did the work. The plant did the work. The farmer harvested both his crop and a soil richer than the one he'd planted into. That is the secret. That is the thumbnail delivered. Here it is in one sentence so you can decide whether to keep watching. 19th century American farmers grew their own fertilizer inside their own fields for free using a system that worked for 200 years. And then, within a single decade, almost every American farm abandoned it entirely. Now ask yourself why. But here is what the agent could not explain. This farmer was not doing anything unusual by the standards of 1880. Every farming manual printed before 1900 described exactly this method. It had a name, it had documentation, it had 40 years of yield records in that very county showing it worked. What the agent could not explain was why, by 1918, he had visited over 200 farms in that region, and this was the only one still using it. The others had switched, all of them, within a single decade, and none of them could clearly explain why. The agent's name was Harold Greaves. He wrote it down. He found it strange enough to note specifically, not the system itself, which he recognized, but the absence of it everywhere else. He asked one of the neighboring farmers directly. The man shrugged and said the new methods were more reliable, more scientific. Greaves noted that the man could not tell him what, specifically, was more scientific about purchasing a substance from a catalogue that did the same thing his grandfather's clover had done for free. The neighbouring farmer's yield that year was below average. Greaves wrote that down too. Now, the most direct explanation for the switch is simple. Between 1900 and 1920, the agricultural extension services across the Midwest were being rebuilt, staffed, funded, and the funding was not neutral. Chemical nitrogen fertilizer had become a serious commercial industry almost overnight, a direct consequence of the Haber-Bosch process, perfected in Germany around 1909, which allowed synthetic nitrogen to be mass-produced from the atmosphere. The same nitrogen that rhizobium bacteria had been pulling from that same atmosphere for centuries. Now it came in a bag. It had a price. And the companies producing it had a powerful interest in making sure farmers believed they needed it. But that only explains the switch. It does not explain what happened to the researcher at the University of Illinois, who in 1923 submitted a proposal to formally document and revive the old rotation system, and whose funding was withdrawn 4 months later by a donor whose name appears nowhere in the university's published records for that year. His name was Dr. Karl Mautner. The proposal existed. The withdrawal existed. What does not exist is any explanation in the public record of why. It is March right now. If you have a garden bed you are about to amend, if you are standing in a hardware store looking at bags of fertilizer, wondering which one, this is the thing to understand. The nitrogen your plants need is in the air above your head at this exact moment. It has always been there. Getting it into your soil does not require a purchase. It requires clover. It requires a season of beans. It requires the same rotation system that Harold Greaves found, still working in southern Illinois in 1918. The soil you are about to plant into is not broken. It may just be waiting. Stop. Everything sold in a fertilizer bag today is solving a problem that did not exist before the bag was invented. The nitrogen was always there. It was in the air. It had always been in the air. What changed was not the availability of nitrogen. What changed was who controlled the process of getting it into the ground. Between 1910 and 1930, the synthetic nitrogen fertilizer industry in the United States grew from almost nothing into a market worth hundreds of millions of dollars annually. That growth required one thing: farmers who believed their soil needed something they could not produce themselves. The transition happened through agricultural extension programs, university research funding, and farming publications, all of which, in that period, had significant financial relationships with the emerging chemical industry. That is not a conspiracy. That is a funding structure. And funding structures shape what gets taught and what gets forgotten. Here is what that looks like in practice. A farming journal in 1905 ran detailed articles on legume rotation. The same journal in 1915 ran advertisements for synthetic nitrogen products on the same page where rotation articles had previously run. By 1925, the rotation articles had stopped. The advertisements had not. What was not forgotten was never formally banned. No one ordered the almanacs burned. The knowledge simply stopped being taught. It stopped being funded. It stopped appearing in the curricula of the land-grant universities that trained the next generation of agricultural agents. And so, when those agents went out to visit farms, they no longer recognized what they were looking at, or they recognized it and said nothing, because there was no institutional framework to support what they might say. Karl Mautner left the university in 1924. There is no record of where he went. His proposal, 12 pages, meticulously sourced, containing yield comparisons across 7 Illinois counties, was not published. Not refuted, just not published. Return to Harold Greaves. He filed his report in November of 1918. It noted the exceptional yields at the southern Illinois farm. It recommended the farmer, whose name was August Haller, as a case study for further research. That recommendation was included in Greaves's original submission. It was removed from the final published summary. The same edit, a specific recommendation removed before publication, appears in a Kentucky Seed Report from 1921, an Ohio Water Quality Report from 1924, a Virginia Harvest Study from 1929. Different states, different decades, same edit. August Haller continued his rotation system until his death in 1941. His son maintained it until 1957. A county land record from 1958 notes the farm changed hands. The new owner's first documented purchase was 2 tons of synthetic nitrogen fertilizer. The soil that had fed itself for 70 years began from that point to need feeding. There is one more thing. Harold Greaves kept personal notes separate from his official reports. They surfaced in a county historical archive in 1987. Most of it is what you would expect: weather observations, crop measurements, mileage logs. But the entry from his last day at the Haller farm contains one observation he never included in any official document. Not about the yields, not about the rotation, about August Haller himself. Something the old man said to Greaves on the last morning of the visit, standing at the edge of the field in the early cold, that Greaves wrote down word for word, and then filed nowhere. Greaves does not explain the omission. He never references Haller again in any document that survives. The note just sits there, one observation, recorded in a private journal, excluded from every official record he ever produced. He never explained why he left it out. The archive does not speculate, but it notes that the same decision to observe something and then choose not to record it officially appears in this story more than once, in more than one state, across more than one decade. That pattern has not been explained.